Mori ore te whānau, what's going on? Welcome back to the 99Dreams podcast. I'm Rawari, and today we've got a very special guest. We've got a good friend of mine back down in Christchurch. Our guest on Friday is from Christchurch, so we're throwing it back. We're running it back with Christchurch, and we're going to introduce you guys Nicole Spriggs. What up, Nicole? How are you?
Kia ora, I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. Before we get started, can we get a bit of a call why Norway, who you are and where you're from?
So I'm Nicole. I'm currently in Otatahi, Christchurch, and I've grown up here. I'm currently doing my PhD out at Lincoln University, and before this, I spent 4 years down at Otago doing life down there. Yeah.
One of the smartest people I know. She skips a whole master's, goes straight to PhD because she about that life.
Oh, we try our best.
Well, so I guess we might as well talk about your study, what you're doing.
What I'm doing, I guess we'll throw it back to my undergrad years. So did my 3 years down at Otago in my undergrad doing Bachelor of Science in Sport, Exercise and Health, and I also had a minor in anatomy. And then my anatomy, my neuro made me real interested in concussions, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, I want to learn about concussions, which caused me to then go do my honours at Otago, which we swerved a little bit because COVID screwed us over a little bit. So I ended up looking at how rugby players anticipate a tackle and how vision's real important for that and stuff. I wanted to look at how people who are concussed when they get to return to play, how the concussion still affects their ability to play, but COVID screwed us there, but that's okay. And then now I'm up here in Christchurch and I'm doing my PhD out at Lincoln. And so my study is looking at how all the subconcussive hits in rugby, how that affects people's brain health and function and structure across the season. So all those little head knocks that you get that aren't concussive but still have a big play on your brain health. And so I'm looking at some high school girls in rugby. Yeah, so I'm just nearly a year into my PhD, which is scary, but 2 more years to go, hopefully. Smash it out.
That midway point.
Oh, it's scary. It's crazy. It's a year. It's just intense.
No, you're going to get there. It's going to be fine. So, what really triggered that passion? Like, what was the lesson, what was the lecture that you attended to make you really interested in concussions?
Um, I think it was in my second year in my neuroanatomy paper that I actually hated until about a week before the exam, and everything made sense to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And just I don't know, it was all the real sciencey stuff behind it, which I'm not really in at the moment because science can be a lot, it's overwhelming, and I'm such a people person and I wanted to work with people, which is why I stayed in that sports science side of it and why I got into sports science in the first place, because I enjoy the people and interacting with them, and I could not work in a lab all day every day because I talk too much for that.
Yeah, that's facts.
But yeah, it's kind of funny that it came out of my like minor that I just kind of picked up. Honestly, I only picked up an anatomy minor because I was going to be a teacher, and I was like, I can't be a PE teacher my whole life. I need something else. So I picked up a science minor so that I could teach biology because I was like, I cannot teach PE my whole life. Oh my God.
What a whirlwind change of events.
I know,
You
yeah.
went from, I might be a teacher to now I'm going to do a
I
PhD.
know, it's so but then also it kind of makes sense because I could happily stay at uni and be a lecturer and stuff, and I guess that's still teaching, which I
Yeah.
think about that, I'm like, oh my God, you're psycho. But also it's kind of not that surprising. Like in high school, you know how at the end of high school you do your yearbook and you vote on who's the most likely to whatever. I got most of it voted most likely to go back to Lincoln High School as a teacher. So
Well, hey, at least you go to Lincoln University to be a lecturer.
oh,
You
I don't
just
know.
leveled up on that.
I'm getting out of Lincoln as soon as I can, to be honest. Love it, but
Yeah, fair.
there's no one in sport. Like people tell me about their tourism, and I'm like, that sounds great, but I don't understand what you're talking about.
So, yeah, how has that transition been coming from, Otago, where a lot of the people that I've had on this podcast have all come from Otago University. So we know quite a bit about Otago and about what is it, like
Culture.
the bond a lot of people formed. Yeah, the culture down there. And it's a lively
Yeah.
place.
I
So
think
how do you find that transition?
I think that's one thing I really miss, is like the community we had at Otago. Like I didn't really get into the like PE school environment until maybe my third, fourth year down there. When I joined PEMA, like everyone else on here apparently. Um, so I think that's one thing I really, and especially in the postgrad environment, like the postgrad offers at Otago, you had what, like 30 of us in there. And if I was struggling with something, then Jess would be sitting beside me and she would be like, okay, we'll try this. And then if we couldn't figure it out, then we'd go to Janelle, who was a PhD student at the time. And she would be like, okay, try this. And then if she couldn't do it, then you'd go to your supervisor for help. Whereas like at Otago, I mean, at Lincoln, there's me and wāhine, who like Hawani is a year ahead of me, so he helps me so much. And then there's not really anyone else, so it's kind of like, and like Hawani's got his own. He's married. He's just had a baby. Like he's in his own world. So like I can't be that little child that's like, help me, please. I think that's my main thing that I miss. Like it's just so much smaller. And especially when you're like in postgrad, it's quite hard to like make new connections. Like in undergrad, you're forced to be friends with people. Like you go into labs, you go to events and stuff, and you're like forced to be friends. Whereas like now it's so different. It's crazy, yeah. But
I
yeah,
guess I've never really had that experience because I'm in Te Koronga, so we were all just forced to be friends anyway. Not that it's forced. We all kind of love to get around each other and hang out. It's always a great feeling, especially when all of us come back together for events. So I can sympathize with you because yeah, when you don't have that, it's strange, eh? Because like with our system, like you said, you've got someone else to go through. I remember in my honors year, I had Baxter, and he's like, "Bro, I don't know anything about what the fuck you're doing." He goes, "I can help you create a title page. I can like give you a template for that, but I can't help you with your study." He goes, "You're doing like Māori research." He goes, "I haven't."
but like it's things like that,
It's
yeah. Like all the structure and stuff. That's like you ended up sending me your honors like template or whatever, and helping me like do the laying out of my honors and stuff. Like it's little things like that. Um, and like just even like the social side of it and stuff, like it's so sad. I go sit and eat my lunch on my own because there's there's no one in our office. Like I go in there and like you're lucky if I see a person in the day and stuff like that. But I'm also like kind of split between UC as well, and there's like a nice group of PhD students at UC, which is cool. But same thing, I'm a literal child. They're all like talking about getting married and having babies and stuff, and I'm like not nowhere near that stage of life. Let's not. Yeah, but no, I think that's my like main thing that I miss about Otago is just like the friends that I made down there in the community, and that there was always someone there, and you'd go, oh, okay, I'm going to have lunch, and some random would go have lunch with you, and you'd sit down for an hour and talk about just random crap. Like it's little things like that that I feel like I'm not getting. But Lincoln in a whole, so much better in like support university wise. So that's plus.
what do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that?
Um, I think that at Otago there was so many of us that it was kind of overwhelming. I think for a lot of our supervisors, they just didn't have the time or the capacity for us. And they, like, don't get me wrong, they tried their best. They were amazing and so smart and so good. They just didn't have the time to do it. And like some of my lecturers were up replying to us at like 3 a.m. and then they'd get 3 hours of sleep and be back up at 6 a.m. And it's like you can't function like that. Whereas like I think Lincoln in itself, because it's a lot smaller, there's a lot more support for like the staff and for the students and stuff. So like I get more attention. I guess that's the way to put it. Which like has been really helpful, like especially having not done a master's. I feel like there's a lot that I've missed out on in terms of like writing ability and like stats. I hate stats. But just things
Yeah.
like that, and I feel like I get a lot more support at Lincoln in developing that side of it than I ever did at Otago. Like at Otago, I think they just forgot that we were like so young, and like with the PE school having changed the whole structure the whole time we were there, I think we missed out on a lot of learning that the staff just forgot we didn't know.
Yeah. There was a big gap to
Yeah.
bridge, and I think they were just like, oh no, they learned that in second year.
Yeah, well, at the end of
It's a 3 year paper, man.
our honours year, Jess and I sit down with our supervisor, and she was like, oh, I've like only just realized why there's like a lot of things that you guys don't know that I thought you knew. And she was like, oh, it's because you guys switched to the 3 year degree instead of the 4 year degree. And I thought that you had 4 years of uni and then gone and did your honours. And we were like, no, we've had 3 years of uni. And also like changing papers left, right, and centre on us, like things like that and shit. Like it was literally at the end when we were like 3 weeks away from handing in. She was like, oh, I understand now. And we were like, this would have been nice a few months ago, but that's okay. We passed. We got out of there. It's fine.
See, that's why you should have did some Māori work and come over to Te Koronga.
Oh, mad regrets, eh? Not getting into that. But can't change it now.
That's life. And look where you are now. You're working in a space where it's really needed right now.
Yeah, and it's a real nice area to be at. Like, it makes me feel very appreciated. Like because I've done one season of data collection, and I did it with the Prevedon under-17 girls rugby team, and they are the like littlest angels ever. They are so sweet. I loved it so much, just being in the environment again, and like their parents and everything, just talking to them. They were all so appreciative. They like were all there backing the study, and like every game that you went to, the other teams were like, oh, what are you doing? And you would explain it to them, and they'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, like so needed. Like, and especially in like our tamariki and our girls, like there's nothing at all on girls. Like I think it's like 90% of research is males or something stupid. Like anything on girls is just so needed, and especially like in the spaces at the moment, like you just want to make rugby safer and keep everyone in the game and playing and happy.
100%. And that research is going to be, used so many places outside of rugby as well, in a lot of contact sports, because so many kids are retiring from contact sports before they even reach high school because of all those concussions and those knocks.
And it sucks because you don't want to scare people away from sport. Like sport's so important. Like not just the physical activity side of it. Like yes, you need to be getting exercise. It's so important for your body, but also like the whole psychological and mental, and like gaining those connections with people, being able to be friends with people. Like especially like when you're younger, at least in Christchurch, we all played sport for clubs. So then you would go play netball with people who were from like 3 different schools. So then you'd get new friends like that instead of it constantly stuck with all your school friends, and things like that is so important. And so you don't want to be scaring people out of playing a sport because they got injured. Like, don't get me wrong, if I got a concussion, I wouldn't be playing rugby anyway. But like, my children ain't ever playing rugby. But yeah, things like that. Like, you don't want to scare people away from the sports. You want to make it as safe as you can, because it's so important. Like everything else is so important.
Yeah. And what is the current state of research on concussion and brain injury at the moment?
Very mixed. It's an interesting one to be like looking at the research, to be honest, because one, there's not a lot of research, and the things that get picked up by like World Rugby or the news or whatever are kind of like real like useless studies. Like they've been done really badly, or they've got 4 participants or something like that, and it's like, well, if something happens with one of them, clearly it's going to be like a big deal. So like at the moment, they kind of like float around the idea of like if you get a hit that's bigger than a certain number, then you're likely to possibly be concussed. And like at the moment, we're kind of looking at the idea of like load across the season. So you know how when you're training for a sport, you want to run 3 times a week so that when you go play your game on Saturday, you've got the capacity to do that. But then you don't want to overtrain during the week so that you're still like energized and ready to go on Saturday. So we're kind of looking at that idea a little bit with like head knocks. So like, can we get this like impact load for pre-season so that we can train the body so that when we're in the in-season we can look at how many hits they have during trainings and how many hits they have in the game and like balance it all out. So like kind of looking at it at the S&C side, but there's also not enough research at the moment so that we can actually use that and say that it's like being helpful. But then there's also like, obviously there's all these athletes, mostly in American football, who are all getting I always say it wrong, CTE.
Yeah, CTA.
Yeah. I should know this. I write it in my brain all the time. But like all of these athletes who they're dying and then getting diagnosed with CTE, and you can't diagnose this when you're alive because you literally have to like open the brain up and look at it and stuff. So it's things like that where there's all these athletes who never ever got concussed and they've got CTE. So then it's like, well, how do we look at this in the young ones to try to do that, which is what we're trying to do, looking at the MRI scans between pre and post season to see if there is that change in brain size, plus all the neural networks and stuff. So like at the moment that's very mixed. Like some studies come out and say that there's no difference, and then there's other studies that come out and you've got these like 24-year-olds who have like huge detrimental changes in their brain structure to what they should have. But then the high school ones I find very interesting because your brain should still be developing until the age of like 25. So your brain should still be getting bigger and should still be changing. So if we don't find any difference between pre-season and post-season, it's like, well, should there be a difference? And as the like head knocks they get across the season, is that causing them to not be improving? But this is all very theoretical. Like it's science. You can't say this is what's happening. Like it's all very theoretical and it's all very floaty and it's a lot of ideas getting thrown around, which I think just explains the state of science, especially in this area at the moment. There's not enough data, there's not enough evidence, there's not enough of anything to actually have a solid theory and a way to like attack it, to make it safer and to make it so people are hopefully not getting concussed and not having their brains being affected, which affects your whole life. Yeah, that was very long-winded and went on long, but hopefully that kind of
That's a great answer. I was going to ask some more about that as well. Like, in terms of brain development, at such a young age, is there any contact to the body that, because even like a head movement, like a severe head movement could cause concussion, right?
Yeah.
Not just knocks to the head.
Yeah, so yeah, I say head knocks, but it's kind of any collision at all. So you've got your direct and you've got your indirect. So your direct is when your head, like head on head clash, head to the ground, head to boot, tackling when they hit their heads onto the hips, things like that. That's your direct ones, which is what people think of when they think concussion. But then you've got your indirect, which is like your whiplash sort of motion. So if I get tackled at my waist and my head whips forward, that can cause a concussion. That's kind of probably the most main indirect one that you get is when you get tackled, or a lot of them do stupid things like falling over. And honestly, you should see some of the videos from trainings. I'm like, what are you doing? But yeah, the indirect and direct, they kind of end up with different sort of concussions in a way. They affect different parts of the brain. So your whiplashy ones, they affect more your brain stem, which is a lot more detrimental because your brain stem's what regulates all your homeostasis. That's how you breathe, that's how your heart beats, that's all your sympathetic, I don't know, anyway, it's all your one of those ones. I should know this, it's my degree, but whatever. Yeah, so they do different things to the brain, but also at the same time, you can't really say, oh, direct's worse or indirect's worse because we don't know enough. Yeah.
And earlier you said you guys are looking at the S&C side of things. So is that sort of looking at new ways to train at practice and in games that reduce the effects or the potential effects for concussion?
So at this stage, like, my thing is that you've always got to look at the bigger picture, right? So We're looking at the load across the season, the number of incidents, the number of hits, the magnitude of hits, and like if it affects brain structure. And then at the end, I'm going to have to sit there and go, so what does this mean? And how do I practically apply this to the real world to make some change? Which is where we're looking at that side of it. And I don't know, it's very grey, so I don't want to say too much because I don't want to, you know, screw myself over and say something that's so wrong and then someone believe me. Anyway,
But isn't that what science is, though?
yeah, I in my head I think of it in an S&C sense because it's it's the easiest way to explain it to people that makes sense, like overtraining, undertraining, like reaching your ceiling, I guess is the way to put it. But it's just kind of a theory that we're looking at. We haven't really done a lot with it. It's hard to like do anything with it to know. Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those things that you write at the end of the PhD and like, oh, for further research, you can
Yeah.
X, Y, Z.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. It's a way that I think you can apply it to the real world. Because what's the point in doing all this research and then not being able to use it to make a difference? Like that's what you want to do. You want to make a difference in the long run. So yeah.
And is there any expected difference between different types of people? So like Polynesian versus non-Polynesian.
No one's looked at it, so it's hard to tell, and it's something I want to look at, but I'm a part of a wider research study which has a lot of funding in it, so I'm quite limited on where I can actually go outside of the study, which sucks, but gotta do what the money wants us to do. There's not enough research. There is evidence that like Māori and Pacifica have a higher concussion incidence, but it's hard to know if you what to put that down to. Is it because of where they've grown up that they just maybe haven't been taught how to tackle well enough? They don't have the technique down pat. Like, is there all these other things at play rather than just the fact that they're Māori and Pacifica? Yeah, that's kind of where that is. There's just not enough. Like, no one's looked at it, and you can't do science without money, and people don't want to give you money to look at that. So, yeah.
Surely throw a pitch in for a postdoc.
Oh, no, I'm getting out of here. I'm okay. I'm out of here.
Are you sure you don't want to do another couple of years? Just keep piling on the credentials.
I could overseas. I'm just not doing it here.
Mm-hmm.
I want out of New Zealand. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into that then. Let's dive into that. So you've recently just been traveling a lot lately. Otherwise, we would have had you on the show sooner.
Just a little bit.
So what is your... a lot more than me.
Yeah, true.
So what's it been like traveling around the world, and where do you want to go?
I guess I'll start off by saying, so 3 months ago, I went to 3 months, 2 months. I went to Turkey for 10 days. So I was being the manager for the Lincoln Uni girls basketball 3-on-3 team. So they were going to the World Championships, which they did amazingly. They came 5th in the world, which was best any New Zealand teams has ever done. Just got to flex on them. So it was a little bit wild how I ended up there. I got asked like 2 months beforehand if I wanted to go because the manager, he was just having a baby like 2 weeks before the comp, and so he was like, do you want to go? And I was like, cool, I'll go to Turkey for free. And then I also have just been to Bali like a month ago. We did 2 weeks in Bali, just did a little tour, traveled around, saw some sights, which, as you know, Rawani, made me so ready to go overseas. And it's not helpful either. My sister's just moved over to Europe, so she's living in London, and she just did her little 3 months traveling around Europe, and all of this has just given me the travel bug. Like, I've always said when I finish uni, I'm getting out of New Zealand, I'm going overseas, I'm traveling, I'm working overseas for a few years, which I was supposed to be doing now, and then I decided to go to a PhD. So Anywho, but like that's always been something that I've said. But like my sister having just left and then going to Turkey and going to Bali, and then my brother, he's moving to Edinburgh next year as well in a few months' time. Like, it's just maybe, oh, I want to get out of here, but I'm stuck for 2 more years.
Got that 2-year contract.
Yeah, but it's okay. But no, that's just, it's always been something I want to do. Like, I love New Zealand, don't get me wrong. I love it here. I just feel like it's too little. And I also think, especially in the sports science world, um, it's really hard to get anywhere unless you've done your masters in strength and conditioning with the Blues, like Hayden's done, and now he's doing amazingly with Auckland Rugby and stuff like that. Like it's so hard, like unless you got your foot in the door early. And also being a female, like no one wants to give any wāhine jobs, and like, oh, I can't change that. um, yeah, I don't know. It's a yeah. I love New Zealand, but I've always had that urge to go see the world, and I think it's definitely come from um being quite privileged when we were younger. Like our family took us overseas, so I've been to like Thailand and New Caledonia and Fiji and Aussie and stuff with my family, which um I appreciate so much. And at the time, I was just like, "Yeah, let's go to Thailand." But like now, I'm like, "Wow, that was so lucky." I'm so glad my parents did that, and I didn't appreciate it as a 12-year-old. And now I'm like, I want to go back to Thailand and go back and see all those cool things I saw that I didn't care about at the time. I just wanted to buy some bright green Converse, like the days.
The mind of a child.
Yeah, like I'm like, man, you're so stupid. And I say it to my parents all the time. Like, the first few times we went to Aussie, I was like 5, and I was like, I didn't care when I was 5. Like, I wasn't even tall enough to go on the rides at the theme parks. Like, yeah,
But that's life,
it
and
is.
you learn from that.
You do, and it
So what?
definitely makes me want
Okay.
to. It does make me because I think it's given me the passion to want to go overseas, and it also came from like my parents. They left when they were like 21 and went and moved in and lived in London for 2.5, 3 years or something. So I think it's also driven from them, and like obviously my brother and sister, they're both going and doing it now, so it's kind of runs in the family. Yeah.
So you're gonna make it a permanent thing, or just like go there for a while and then come back to New Zealand eventually?
Um, I don't know. I love New Zealand. It's a beautiful country here, and I think that I don't know enough about the rest of the world to say anything on that. Like, I might get over to Europe and go, man, this sucks, and come back here in like a month's time. But I might also get over there and fall in love with it, and yeah, not come back. I don't know. Like, I want to say I'll come back because I love it here, and obviously, like my family's here or my friends are here, and like it seems like crazy right now to say like I'd never come back to that, but I don't know any different. So how can I say on that? Yeah.
It's always an exciting thought, though. Like, oh, is this the last time I leave? Am I ever
That's
gonna come back?
scary. That's
Oh,
so scary.
that's how I feel now. Every time I leave Dunedin, I don't know if I'm going back.
I haven't been back to Dunedin since I left. Oh no, I went for graduation, but that was a little bit different because that was with my family. Um, and I hate it. Like I was talking to Nick the other day, and he was like, "When are you coming to see us?" I'm like I can't really. Like I just don't have the time. Like uni just has taken over. Like I'm at rugby games every weekend, and that's when I would go to. I'm not going to go to Dunedin midweek and see my friends because they're all working. Like, yeah, I hate
It's a
it.
different vibe, eh?
Yeah,
Once you leave and once you're finished, it's so hard to mesh things up because you have your own life and your own things going on. They've got their own life and their things going on. It's hard to make time.
but it also makes you like realize the friendships you appreciate and the people you'll put effort into. Like, I've even noticed that moving back to Christchurch this year. Like I left for 4 years, and there was all these people that I still put a lot of effort in to see when I came home. But I've lived here for a year, and they haven't put any effort in to see me. And I was like, well, like I live here now. It's not like I'm not only home for 3 days. Like you can see me whenever. And like things like that just made me be like, oh, okay, now I realize what friendships I actually appreciate, and the ones that were like put effort into. And like that's even like having left Dunedin now, the people that I still talk to like every day, are people that I'm like, oh, you and me, like we're gonna stay friends for a long time because we haven't lived in the same city for a year, and like we still talk to each other all the time, and yeah,
I
crazy
think, yeah,
changes.
it's always important to keep those kind of people together as well. And like you said, you really find out quickly, like who's a real one and who's kind of just there sucking up all your time when you're ready, not when they've got time. It's always like, oh, I was waiting for you to free yourself up, and it's always like it's a you problem, not a
Yeah,
them problem for
or
why
like
they can't catch up.
the people that like clearly only talk to you now when they have an issue, and you message them when you have an issue, and you just get seen, and it's like, it's cool. Thanks.
Yeah, and it's too much. It's just not worth spending all your energy, exhausting all your energy into those kind of relationships when it's like a one-way street. It's not worth it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think like at uni you don't really understand how many like wasted friendships you have. Like you get so like, especially at Otago, you're so drawn into that culture. Like my first 2 years at uni, like first year and the whole like that took over my life, like a little social butterfly Nicole, like, you know, um you don't really like realize how many like just fake friendships you had until you get out of it and you're like, why were we ever friends? Like, but then I also think that I've grown a lot, and this is like a realization I've come to recently. I've grown so much in the last like 2 3 years that my morals I had when I first came to uni and my morals I have now, very different, which is why I'm not friends with a lot of people anymore, because we just have very different goals in life now, and I don't need that in my life, so why have it? That was very brutal, but like
You got to be though.
mm,
When did that realization sort of come to fruition? Like, when did you say, "Fuck, I wasted a lot of time on these pricks.
um
I got to change."
I think it was my honors year, honestly. When I was going through like a bit of a shit time, and it made you realize. And then like this year, well, I guess last year now, my first year back in Christchurch, I think that also made me realize when I was like so chaotic and busy with life, and I realized who I was putting the time in to see, and like the people that I'd be like, okay, I have 3 hours on a Monday morning, we can catch up and get coffee or have breakfast or whatever. And then like there was people who wouldn't do that for me. Like I'd be like, okay, here's my calendar for the week, here's my here's my times, and they would just be like not putting any effort in. I was like, well, bye. Yeah, it's things like that when you're busy and you're chaotic and you have a lot going on. There's the people that are like, okay, I understand that you're busy, we'll catch up when you're like, I'll see you every 3 months or whatever. And then there's the other people that are like, oh, like, I don't know. Yeah. You just realize when communication, and like, well, when you're doing crap, and um, there's people that like will reach out to you and be like, hey, look, I know that you're really busy and stressed at the time, but like, I'm always here for you. Like, it's people like that you're like, really realize how much you appreciate and love them. And it's people that I might not see that often. Like, I see them once every 6 months, but they're still like, realize when you're stressed, and and they're there for you. Yeah.
Those are the valuable relationships to maintain.
Mm.
So, Fano, if you got leeches out there that aren't putting in the same amount of effort that you put in for time, or
It's a two-way
even just
street.
to text and say hi, yeah, cut them off.
Cut them off. And
Seems harsh, but
I'm very like you'll notice. I send people shit all the time. I do my little Snapchat vlogs. But for me, that's like I send them to people that I care about, and like I know that they probably just sit there and like bye. But like
I always
that's
ask for a summary.
but that's like my form of still like communicating with people. And it's like, well, if I want to share my stupid life stories with you, then like clearly you mean something to me, because like, why would I just send that to a stranger? Yeah. Yeah. If you're no longer my Snapchat best friends, that's when I realized that like we're not really that close anymore.
Oh, we made it, Fano. So here's another thing, because going off of relationships, how's your relationship with yourself and your journey in Te Māori?
Oh, we love this question, don't we? Um, okay, so I oh sorry, there's a bug. I didn't I don't know if it's that I didn't know that I was Māori, but more that I didn't realize and understand the significance of it or anything when I was younger. I didn't grow up in like a very Pākehā world. I grew up um and I didn't learn anything, I didn't know anything until probably when I was like 15 or 16 in high school. Um, but even then, it was more like I can get a scholarship and get some money, which I hate. I hate team. I hate it now. When I was 16, I just wanted to get money to go to university. So you can bag on 16-year-old Nicole because I did as well. Um, but it wasn't until when I hit uni and I decided to join Pima in my third year. Yeah, I had 2
Yeah, I
years
think
on
so.
Pima. Yeah, my third year. And I learned so much. Like everything I know is from all you guys, and it's wild. And it makes me regret not getting on the 206 bandwagon and stuff. Like at uni, I just took the papers I needed to take to finish my degree in 3 years and get out of there. And look at me, I'm still here. Um, but that's one of my big regrets throughout uni is just only taking the papers I needed to take. So I missed out on all that learning and stuff. And when it got to third year and everyone was taking, was it the 300 level one? I don't know what number.
306.
306 it is.
Yeah.
And everyone's taking that, and I was like, man, I wish I had have. But that was my last semester at uni. I couldn't just change my papers because I needed papers to get my degree. And then honors, still kept learning a lot. All you guys have taught me so much. And then last year I just got very overwhelmed with uni life. It's been a lot. But that's one of my goals for this year is I really want to get learn Te Reo and stuff. I've been on the little podcast that have been teaching me Te Reo, but I'm so bad at learning things online. I don't listen. Or I sit there and say stuff, and I'm like, "Am I saying this correctly?" And I think especially with Te Reo, like any language, you need to talk to someone to learn it.
Yeah.
Which I can't do if I'm sitting there in my bedroom listening to a podcast.
Pro tip: if you get the ebook, Maori Made Easy by Scotty Morrison and Stacey Morrison,
I love you think I have that.
they talk to you. Yeah,
Was it
add
Māori
that
Made
to
Easy?
your list. Yeah, Maori Made Easy by Scotty and Stacey Morrison. It might just have Scotty's name on it. It's no, I don't have the book on me, but it's an ebook as well, and you hear him say it, so it'll be
That's quite
like
nice.
"Keep the bear koe," and then you
you
just
say
repeat it. Yeah, and so you'll pick up how to pronounce words through him, and then he'll have a sentence. He'll introduce new words, and then he'll give you the sentence to say, and then you go through that.
That's quite cool.
So
I like that.
download that.
I think that I need to go to actual Te Reo classes, which is what I wanted to do last year and which I want to do this year. But my time schedule for uni is not ideal. Classes are all, in the evening or something, and I'm at rugby trainings all day, every day, which I hate. And for me, I really want to prioritize it because I do feel passionate about it, and I want to learn a lot. And I think going overseas made me realize I want to learn more because people ask you about your culture and stuff, and it's like I can explain it but but not yeah. It's definitely a learning. It's a lot of learning, and I've got a lot of learning to go. And but I love it. It's a great journey. Yeah.
I think it's a forever journey for everyone, really. my cousin and I, we were talking about this as we were recording the other day, and we were saying like when we were kids growing up, it was like always around us, and
Mm.
we were always like had opportunities to learn te reo, but we kind of were like, nah, it's not for us, man. Like we're just trying to eat our breakfast, not have a kōrero, because his old man, my cousin's old man, my uncle, he was always like just coming back from a bloody wānanga and just going hard out with all the new words and phrases he's learned, and we're like,
Go away. That's interesting
thanks.
because me and Lucy, who you had on the podcast on Friday, last time I caught up with her, we were talking about this as well because she's also like going through a te reo journey and stuff. She's knows a lot more than me. But one thing that kind of struck me that she said is she was talking to someone else and they were like, oh, like what? Talking about like learning te reo and stuff. And they were talking about how like English is such, like it's everywhere. All we know is English, right? But like all of us, we're still Māori. So it's, you want to be bringing that language up to that same level that you know of English sort of thing. So like if I'm Māori, but I'm also Pakeha. So why is my English and my like Pakeha knowledge all the way up here, but my Māori and te reo is all the way down here? And all you want to be doing is bringing it back up to that normal, so that in your life you're appreciating both sides of your culture. It's not that you're like trying to be like, everyone sits there and bags on you if you say te reo on Instagram or something. You put like an Instagram post up and it's in te reo and everyone's like, but all you're trying to do is bring that other side of your culture up to be exactly on the same playing field as the one that everyone else knows. And if someone who like grew up in Japan posts on Instagram something in Japanese, people aren't like, they're just like, oh my god, like it's beautiful, blah 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 blah. So why are they like that with te reo when like we're Māori? So like yeah.
100%. And like that's why I always sort of introduce myself as Māori. Like I always identify as Māori because my skin tells you I'm also mixed with something else.
Yeah.
So it just helps people to identify. Oh right, so he's from Taranaki, Te Aotearoa, e Ngāti Maru. So I'm like, yeah, that's me. And I'm also Pākehā, but because like you said, and I've never heard it put like
You just
that, but I
want to
love it.
you want to be on
So
that exact same
yeah,
playing field because you're equally both. So why are you like making one be more privileged when you're like both? Like if I sit there and say something and today I say that I'm from Otatahi, like all that sort of stuff, it's not me like flexing that I'm Māori or anything. It's just like I'm on the same playing field. Yeah.
yep, acknowledging the other side that has been neglected for a long time. It's not our fault, and it's not our fault that there's such an imbalance. We're just trying to correct that balance.
Yeah, and that like that's how it should be, and it's not our fault that it's not.
100%. So get off my chat, man. Get off my chat. I haven't had any racist comments yet.
Well, that's good.
Because I don't think this podcast is big enough yet, but I'm assuming it's going to happen eventually.
But also, like,
we'll
stay in your lane. Stay in your freaking country, bro.
Yeah, stay in your whitewashed world. We're thriving out here.
Yeah.
We're thriving.
And I think it's just such a cool space, though. Like, there's always things to learn. There's so much knowledge. There's so much history. Like, New Zealand's young, but there's so much history that we just don't know. And we should know.
Yeah. And it's crazy. There's a lot of history that we don't know for a reason. But there's also beautiful history. There's like history about people's coming together. There's the history of the resilience of our people, especially through the 80s with the resurgence of te reo Māori, kaupapa Māori.
I watched the movie Fina on the plane.
I haven't seen that yet.
Go watch it. I was going to tell you to watch it, but I was on the plane, so I couldn't message anyone and tell them to watch it. I sat there and told all my flatmates who were sitting on the plane with me, I was like, go watch that movie right now. But it made me emotional. Like, it just, like, the way that they were treated, and then like the passion and the drive that they had back then, and we still all have that passion and drive, and it's something that I like aspire to be a part of. But like it just made me so emotional, and like wow, like there's a lot of history there, and there's a lot of hurt, and just overcoming it all and still being proud and Yeah. Watch the movie. Anyone on
Yeah,
the podcast listening, go watch Wāhine. Beautiful movie.
it's a movie based around Dame Whina Cooper, and it's like it's the land foreshore, is it? It's something to do with the land reclamation, no?
Yeah, the reclaiming the land. She's from Northland, and walked from Northland down to Wellington, and make protests, very peaceful protest. That was the whole thing about it, that they didn't want to be aggressive or anything. That they just reclaiming their land, and she grew up through when New Zealand was getting colonized, and like their land getting taken off them, and like you just learn about how it all happened and how it was all very twisted, and yeah, and it was also like the feminism side of it, like how wahine used to be treated and stuff, and like that they couldn't speak in the marae, and things like that. She just made like a big change. um yeah.
She's definitely a pioneer here and social justice movements.
100%.
Um, Absolute legend. That reminds me, have you seen the other one that come out around the same time, Muru?
No, I have not. I haven't actually heard of that.
It's the one with Cliff Curtis and Tamaiti.
No, I
It was
haven't.
the one where he was going around and putting the I will not speak te reo, or I will not speak Māori, and it was crossing
Oh,
out the not. It
yes,
was
I'd
it was
heard
the
of this.
that film. That film again is a beautiful film. It's evokes a lot of different emotions as you go throughout it. But it's a great film. Highly recommend it. Not going to give too much away. I just want you to go in there and get your own thoughts and your own sort of opinions about that movie. Because yeah, was like, ah,
You have to remind me
it's
later.
yeah.
I'll do
Just
it.
watch it. It's yeah. You might get angry. You might be frustrated throughout the film, but the story is told really well, I thought. Um, so yeah, if you get the chance, Muru, Whina, two great movies. I'll watch Whina, you watch Muru.
Okay, you're gonna have to remind me when you watch it. You can tell me to watch the other one.
All right. Um, One thing I was going to say too, before we got on that whole whirlwind of an adventure, is when you're learning te reo, my uncle always tells us is like you need a time, a location, and stay consistent with it.
Mm,
So,
that's
an
something I
example of
definitely
that
don't do.
is, well, like if you, how long is the commute from your house to Lincoln University?
Like a 15-minute drive.
Yeah, see, if you just start off with 15 minutes of only being immersed in te reo in your car on that 15-minute drive to and from Lincoln.
I'll do that at
So
6 in
whether
the
it just be
morning when I
music,
drive to my gym class
yeah,
at 6 a.m.
so it could just be music, te reo,
Yeah,
Māori,
that's
real
true.
Māori music.
Yeah.
It could be podcasts. It could be Scotty Morrison's ebook. This isn't a paid
You'll
sponsorship
just
either.
flex
It's
it.
just a good book.
That's actually a very valid point. Yeah. This is getting onto like psychology here, but
Mm.
routine is definitely something, especially when you're like at uni and you've got no routine. Um, Something I realized is that you need to keep consistent, yeah, and then you'll be doing it. Especially even with the gym and stuff, team, get a routine.
Yeah, and while you're driving, because you're focusing so much on not crashing,
Yeah, it
your
goes
brain
in.
subconsciously picks it all up,
Mm, I have heard that before, yeah.
and yeah, and then also the best music to listen to at the moment, because you're still in the beginner stages, is the those what is it the one that always comes out in Te Reo Māori Week, Te Wiki Te Reo
Uh,
Māori.
and it's all the like New Zealand pop culture, but in
Yeah,
Te
like
like
Benny
and
and Six
Stan
60.
Walker and yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so those are the best because you know the English version, so
Mm.
you know what that song's about. So when you listen to the Te Reo one, you kind of got to pick up little words here and there that mean or translate to the English versions and variations.
And it's definitely something I picked up hanging out with all of you at Otago, and would be out drinking or whatever, and you just put like a playlist of Te Reo on it. It was like, I know the song, but like I don't know the song, but yeah.
Yeah, it throws you off, as soon as they hit you with the reel, you're like, huh? It's not how the song starts.
You're wrong.
I love it though. Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite thing at the moment. Is just jamming out to those.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what's been with another segment of the show is your rock and your rows, your highs and your lows. What have been your highs and lows of 2022?
My highs going overseas. Can't say no to that. Another high is working with my girls this year. I loved it. Like just people. I love working with people, and they were just the sweetest. Like sometimes I was like, oh my god, you were catty little high school girls. Um, Honestly, but by the end of it, I felt like their older sister. They would come up to me when they had problems and stuff, and I'd be like, thanks. Um, my lows. Sucking at time management and organizing my life. And I've said this to a few of my friends recently. I've just been a shitty friend in the last year because I've been so like driven with uni, which isn't a bad thing. But I just feel like I've been a crap person because of it. And then like when I came back from Turkey and between Bali and stuff, I was just kind of in like a shit. You know, when you like come back from holiday and you just kind of get like a little depresso because you're like, I was just like on holiday, and it didn't help that my dog died when I got back from Turkey, and then that was just didn't help. I was a little bit of just a crap person for like the 3 weeks I got back from Turkey and before we went to Bali. Um, so that was a big low in my life, and I wasn't sleeping, which doesn't help. Um, but these are all things that like I know how to fix, and I would like to fix for this year. Other than the fact that I just have no time on my hands because life's a little bit crazy. But I like back to those like relationships and friendships and stuff. Everyone who's in my life appreciates that, and they know it, and they know that like this is my priority right now. And I'm just lucky that they're all proud of me and supporting me. So yeah, that got a bit emotional, but quick.
That's what happens on this show a little bit. Like, if they matter, they won't care because you're trying to improve yourself. You're making yourself better. Like,
and
get it.
I think a lot of my friends, at least who have been friends with me for a while, know that when I'm stressed and anxious, I just go lock myself in my bedroom. And it's not that I don't like you, it's just that I need my me time. And if you're gonna get mad at me for that, wow, bye. I just need my Nicole time. I need to just zen. Because if I'm stressed and anxious, I don't want to be dealing with people because then I'll probably snap at you, and then it's gonna be worse. Yeah.
I've seen a slightly stressed. I haven't seen highly stressed Nicole. I've tried to feed Nicole a whole lot of coffee. She's like, "Stop! I'm already stressed and anxious. I'm going to start twitching. I don't need any more coffee. Leave me alone."
That was third year, wasn't it? Was that third year? Was it honors?
Yeah.
That was third year.
No, it was your third year.
Yeah. I got my best results ever that year. I was so proud of
Cool.
myself. I got all A's, and I think I had 1 or 2 A pluses, which were like my first A pluses. I was like, gosh.
Not bad. Not bad.
But yeah.
Must be all credit to that focus group you guys had down there going on.
Actually, yeah, I loved that. I love learning with people. Yeah, that's how I learn. Sitting there chatting with people and like figuring it out. So yeah, we, for a bit of context, team. And third year of uni, we organised like little study sessions. I think we started the week before exams. So then all throughout exams, the couple of rooms in the PE school were open for people to just come and study, and it was like a very communal learning area. So at least a lot of us third years who were all doing like our hardest exams we'd ever had, we were doing exercise physiology. I think we had what did we have? Main one I remember is exercise physiology because that was a really hard paper. But my best paper I ever did, I got my best result ever, which is wild. Yeah, and it was the best environment to learn, and especially when we had like these lectures that you would have 7 lectures that all made up one big physiological process, and we stuck it on the board, and people would be looking through their own individual notes to find how this all connects together and stuff, and it was great. It was a great learning environment, and this is back to why I missed the PE school, because it was just such a supportive space.
I loved it just because it distracted me from my honours.
You were
I was
psycho.
like,
I can't believe that you decided a month before handing it in that you didn't like it and you're changing the topic. Like, I remember sitting there
yeah,
being like, if I am like this with my honours, I have issues. Like, I'm too much of a perfectionist and like a people pleaser and a stress bunny to do that.
it's a crazy thing to do, but looking back, it was the best thing to do.
And like, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, like my honours, I didn't really enjoy what I was doing. It wasn't what I wanted to be doing. And you could see that like in my lit review, the section on concussion was like this long, but this section on like neural networks was like this long. And that was like the main topic of my honours. I just didn't enjoy it as much, so I just didn't put the effort into like research it and things. And like, so then like I probably could have got a way better grade than I did, but I just wasn't passionate about it. That was the year I got concussed as well, so like that didn't help. And like that totally shows, like, and if you're not passionate about what you're doing, just change. And that's why you've sat on your masters for a year too long.
We don't bring that up. We don't bring it up.
You told me that
It's
you were handing it
2023.
in March 2022. That was
Yeah,
9 months ago.
I thought I was.
March
I thought I was
2023.
too, but 2024.
2024. That's when I. Anywho,
We just never say never. Just
that's true. It's a
be
dream
done.
that you'll eventually complete.
Yeah,
It'll
and
get
then
out of the
we'll get to
dream jar
90.
one day soon.
It's not even in there. It's not even in there.
Clearly not a dream.
I'd rather have a
anymore.
McLaren before I have my masters.
Oh god.
I think the essence of this is pursue happiness.
I mean, you're
Pursue
not wrong.
happiness.
That's the point in life, to be happy and to make babies.
Nah, world's overpopulated. Everyone take a break. Let the next gen.
Well, you gotta, yeah.
But let's build on that. There's a question here that I wrote down. I was meant to ask it when I had Lucy on, but I forgot. So I wrote it down. And building off of the happiness, what do you believe is the key to happiness?
To be selfish, honestly. Like, you're never gonna be happy if you're pleasing everyone else, and you just got to go out and do what you want to do. And like, I'm not saying be a bitch to everyone else. Like, still be a good person. You've still got to be a good person. But like, you like do what you want to do, and that's always gonna involve other people, and that's gonna having those other people around you is gonna bring you that happiness. And whether the thing that's gonna make you happy is to have a family, like that's what you want to do, so go do it. If you want to go to space, I don't know, just like if you're worried about like leaving other people behind or things like that, like don't, just do it. Nike, just do it. Yeah, that
We're not
was.
sponsored.
I think that's like, yeah, like it doesn't, like, don't worry about what other people are going to think of you, or that, like, you know, like when I first told my family that I wanted to do a PE degree, they were like, what? Because I had always been like, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to be a physio. And then I was like, guess what? I want to do a PE degree. And they were like, okay. Like, don't worry about it. Just do what will make you happy, because you're not going to be happy otherwise. Like, yeah, I think that's
Yeah, hard. Living life with regrets and what ifs. Like, I'd hate to have been like, oh, what if I did do XYZ paper? What if I did do like exchange? What if I did apply myself and actually get A's and shit
Get
in
a
my first few
master's.
years instead of saving it all in my last getting my master's? Like, I didn't do well until I got to like my final year, and I was like, I want to do postgrad, so I had to get A's my final year to get into honors. So I know you can do anything. Just don't
Just
live
don't
with
worry.
regret.
Just roll with the punches. That's my quote of 2022. Go with the flow, roll with the punches. What will be, will be.
What's the quote for 2023?
Get shit done.
I could use that.
Got a few things. Got to get some money. Got to write my thesis. I think that's my main ones.
Yeah, I think it should go. I got to write the thesis, get money.
No, I got to get money so that I can go overseas, because that shit's expensive.
Just start a vlog of how you live day to day writing a thesis as a PhD student in Lincoln.
That would not be interesting, because that's me at my computer all day. So yeah, currently,
You got to make it interesting.
you should. I feel bad for the person who like sits near me, because all they can hear is me tap 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 as I video verify things, and I'm like, shift in, and it's just tap 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 tap. I feel so bad. And it's not even like, like typing can be kind of therapeutic because it's a little bit consistent. It's me just like and then like nothing for 5 minutes, and then
That's painful.
yeah, I know.
That's painful. But just set a camera up behind you, time lapse, right click, and then
If I knew how
voice
to edit
over it at
videos,
the end.
I might have to. I'll get on the TikTok for you.
Hey, YouTube teaches you so much. That's how I've learned to edit everything, and I still suck, but we're getting better. We're getting better.
I can't say I've actually watched any of the videos, so I can't speak on that.
Now, this year we've got some new animations on the podcast videos. We've got name tags, and we've got new transitions. We've got new colorway.
We're going up in the world, eh?
Yeah, we're keeping it fresh for season 2. It's not even season 2, really. It's just year 2. We've not even reached a year yet, but this is year
Month
2.
2. Month 3? 4.
4.
Yeah.
This is the 4th. Well, by the 28th, this will be the 4th month we've been operating.
Nice.
And by the end of this month, we will have had 24 episodes, 23 episodes.
Kapai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're steadily growing.
We love that.
It's yeah, we're just accomplishing dreams out here. Which, perfect segue. A little post-it note. Nicole's favourite, the dream deposit box.
Yeah. I nearly bought you a jar, but then I've grown to like the quote that's on the box, even though I know that you just bought the shoes and then went, this is a cool box, so I'm going to pretend I did this intentionally. But I've grown to like it.
I actually brought because I was looking for some basketball sneakers. I normally go Nike. I don't really like Adidas. But it was the quote. Always remember when they doubted you.
I mean,
can't go wrong.
That's a little bit of good marketing there for them.
It's great marketing. And it's not too bad of a shoe.
Well,
have you seen the shoes?
No, I don't actually think so. But
I'll bring the shoes.
Okay.
Here we go.
Oh, beautiful. They're actually quite cool.
Yeah, see? So it all worked out for Rawiri. Got a dream deposit box. It's added another word.
Funny.
Where dreams don't go to die. They just get deposited, stored, and when someone achieves them, look, we've got a few now.
I love it. There is quite a few, yeah. Get in there.
Yeah, the yellow ones are mine. The pink is everyone else.
I think that you need to put a yellow one in that says complete my masters.
Yeah, I'll do that today. I'll write that down while you figure out yours. Complete masters in 2020. What year?
This
2023.
is 20. Do you want to finish it this year? Yeah, I think so.
I'd hope so.
I
I think my supervisor wants me to finish it this year.
think she wanted you to finish it last year.
I definitely did.
Um, I love listening to everyone else's dreams on here because they're always so selfless.
They really are. Mine are the worst.
I don't even know what my dreams would be. I feel like mine are all very selfish right now.
Let it be.
Can I do like one that's
You
like
can do as many as
selfish?
you want.
I'll do two. Okay, this is like one dream, but it's like two birds, one stone. So this year, my 2023 goal is I'm gonna
Yes.
run a half marathon, and within that goal, I also want to do like 100 runs this year.
I do think I remember that Snapchat.
Totally, me trying to be
And
like keep me accountable, team.
100 runs.
And then my like
So you want to run a half marathon and run 100 runs?
yeah, in the year.
Okay, I need a photo or something when you complete this, because I think this might actually be the first that we do get to
Oh,
complete.
that's
Because
scary.
there's another one that will get completed very shortly, but I think it's like 2 years away.
So that's my 2023 goal, and then my like, I guess my greater dream, at least currently, is to through my like study and stuff, and like greater term like 5-10 year goal is to like make a change in the sporting environment, make it safer. Yeah, I think that's what my like greater kind of goal is, to make it safer space, which is a very
Safer
open-ended
space.
dream. Don't know how I would say I've accomplished that dream.
Oh, hey, if out of this research comes some new rules and regulations that reduce head injuries and brain impact,
That's the hope.
then that's clarification of that dream being achieved.
Yeah, making some
But
change.
this is how I summarized it. Nicole Spriggs' second dream: make a positive impact in sporting environments, making them safer
Sounds
for our
good.
rangatahi to enjoy.
Yeah.
I like those. Those are great.
Thanks.
Yeah. What am I gonna say? Like, that was a shit dream. Why would you choose that?
I feel like they're very me. But I guess that's what a dream is. It's you.
Yeah. 99 of the bastards. I wonder how many are in there. I might count it. See if I get to 99 and then just stop asking.
No, but you'll reach 99 in the next few months. Because like there's
Yeah.
like you've got at
So
least
why
like
do you
30.
want to see?
Sorry, continue.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Oh, because of mine as well. But why do you want to see a safer environment for sports? Why do you want to see what is safer?
I've always been like interested in like injuries and stuff, and I think injuries scare a lot of people away from sport. So like changing sport rules or creating like training schedules and plans and all that sort of stuff. I like enjoy like I've always kind of floated the idea of like being a physiotherapist or strength and conditioning or all that sort of stuff, and I think that's where the passion for that comes from, is to help people so that they can keep pursuing their dreams, keep them happy, keep them in the space that they want to be in. Like I think sport and exercise is so important, as I was saying earlier, for like more reasons than just being active. And so being able to keep people in that space by making it safer, by making it like mentally, emotionally, all that sort of stuff, making it safer in that sense, I think is so important. And like coming back into community sport this year made me realize that a lot. Like when I played sport in high school and then now having a degree and coming back and looking at it, I'm like, there's so much change that's needed. Um, Even outside the sports science realm, that is like my area. Like especially wāhine, tamariki wāhine, and rugby. Like they're getting coached by males that have no idea how to deal with girls, and like it's little things like that that I'm like, I just want to make this an environment that you want to stay in because it's so important for you. Yeah, but I don't know if that's come out of me having had some like tough like netball environments and stuff growing up, um, and like that's why I stopped playing netball in the end because I kept getting in these like teams where I just wanted to like be playing netball for fun, and you'd have these like psycho girls that are like, "Oh my god, you can't do that! You're gonna make us lose!" And I was like, "Oh, shut up." Yeah.
Sports is a funny old thing, eh?
It is, and like I think sport, especially when you're younger, like it's all about being competitive, and it's changed a lot now. Like not having reps teams and stuff until the age of, is it like 14 or 15 or something? At least in rugby and netball, I know they've made that change. I think maybe football. Like it's things like that like if you got on a reps team when you were 8, you hadn't even gone through puberty yet, and then like especially in sport, as soon as you're in like this high up team, your name's then known and you're in the team every year from then on, even if you aren't the best player. Like, yeah, things like that needs changed as well, but that's just bigger than me, really. Yeah.
You never know. All it takes is just one voice to continuously chirp in the air, and then they'll soon get sick of it. And then you get given a team, and you got to
Mm.
fix things.
And I guess like look at
Is
women's
it?
sport now. Like, how would that change have happened if people hadn't been there backing it for the last 100 years? Like, yeah.
And it's still in its infancy. It's still growing, but they've made such huge strides in the past couple of years, I think.
Oh, 100%. And I obviously we see it from like such a small point of view being down in little old New Zealand, but like we had the Rugby World Cup, and then there's the Football World Cup and the cricket, and I want to say hockey or something. Is there? I don't know. That might be a lie. But like there's all of these huge women's sporting things happening in New Zealand right now that I think has fully changed a lot of opinions in New Zealand about women's sport, and like got a lot of girls into sports that aren't just netball. Um, but like we only see that down here. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world. So yeah.
Yeah. I know Australia's booming. Their women's rugby league is going off.
Yeah.
But based on the World Cup, with the Women's World Cup, there was rugby league just gone. Australia
Oh yeah,
still is the dominant
they're tough,
powerhouse.
aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they're tough to beat.
And
Um,
like that's
but
so
it's
good.
exciting. Like,
It's just like it's sports that are stereotypically male sports, and like why shouldn't females be playing that? Like why can't males go play netball? You know? Yeah. Yeah, and it's
have you seen that men's netball team?
oh yeah, like I love
They're
netball.
dominant.
I love playing netball with guys. Other than the fact that as soon as you get on the court, they're like, "I'm centre," and I'm like, "Get wrecked! I'm centre." But I love playing netball with guys. It's so much fun. Good fast paced game.
It's hectic. It's tough. I've played a few of those social games for Unipol at the end of the year with Te
Oh
Korowa.
yeah, those are
It is
them.
a tough game.
It's good. It's a
Um,
good game.
it's fun when you got Jack on the team because he's just up there floating. You guys will meet
Yeah,
Jack in a couple of weeks.
he can shoot. He's a little basketball
He's
boy.
a baller.
Yeah.
He's a baller. Well, let's dive into the next segment of the show that we always go through. If we could turn back the clock and you'd be sitting next to, let's go with 17-year-old Nicole. What would you be telling, or any piece of advice you'd give to 17-year-old Nicole?
Life isn't that serious. Calm down. Like I was like at that age, I feel like I was very influenced by other people's opinions on things. Um, and like, yeah, like it's not that serious. Things will work out. Just do what you want to do. Um, yeah.
Why is that the piece of advice that you want to give?
Well, if I look back and like, I feel like that's the advice I give to like friends, little sisters and stuff, or like people that I know who are like finishing high school, wanting to go uni, and they're all like, "Oh my gosh, I have to decide what uni papers I need to take because it's like determining my whole life." When you're 17, you don't know what you want to do with your life. Like, why do you have to make that decision then? Like, I feel like people just need to be told to just calm down and like go with it because I feel like a lot of parents um like make you think you have to make that decision then and there for the rest of your life, but like half of them haven't even gone to uni, so why like they don't even know how uni works. They don't know that you could do your first semester and then go, oh my gosh, I hate this, and change your course. And if it takes you another 6 months or another year to do your degree, like, so what? Yeah, like things will work out. We just don't stress about it. There's no need to stress about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Relax more and just let it happen.
Yeah, that's my persona now with life. We just roll with the punches.
Since when have you become so laid back?
Since I had a very stressful year and realized that I need to just not stress.
There's a whole new Nicole.
Oh, I don't know. I say that now when I'm like quite happy and like, things are going quite well, and then give it a month when I start my preseason testing for this season, and I'll be a stress ball once again. Yeah.
Bring back stress Nicole.
But also, like, stress
Take
Nicole
back
gets
this
shit
Nicole
done.
stuff.
She gets shit done. She gets up. She goes to the gym at 6 in the morning. She goes and does her day of uni, and then she's in bed by 9 o'clock. Like, she's a good. She's a routine bitch.
Nice. See, there you go. Bring back some routine and structure to your life.
Oh, I need it. Yeah. Nah, I do think that
But that is some great advice.
my opinions have changed. Having met a lot of new people recently, and like, um, I don't know if it's just me, but like I've always had that like thing in my head of like, oh my gosh, I need to be like finish uni by 25 and like work for 2 years, and then I'm gonna get married and like have children and all that crap. But then like having met so many new people recently, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm 29 and like just finished uni, and I'm like, man, like I don't know. I think it's changed my opinions because I'm like, why are you so stressed about getting stuff done? Like, you don't need to worry about this. Like, I'm already like ahead of schedule, so why am I worried about it?
Well ahead of schedule.
Yeah, yeah.
It's only onwards and upwards from here.
Oh.
All right then. After that great advice to your younger self, what's a phrase or a piece of advice that you'd like to give yourself in 5 to 10 years when you look back on this video?
This is such a hard one. Um, One, I hope you're happy and like living your life, and two, it doesn't matter if you still don't know what you want to do with your life. I think.
All right then.
Mm.
All right then. There's going to be some interesting reflections when you rewatch this or re-listen to this in 5 to 10 years' time, wherever you're at in the world and
Homeless on
on
the
your
side of the
journey.
street, being like, "Oh my god, Nicole, why did you tell me that?"
Don't worry, we'll find a job for you in the 99 Dreams empire somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I might be like hella overqualified by the end of this and not get a job, so just be in a lot of debt.
That's the risk we take. Sort of enjoy the process.
Yeah,
Trust the process, as Nick would say. Fucking hate
yeah,
that phrase.
yeah, yeah.
What do you think then? Or where would you like to be in that 5 to 10 years' time?
I don't know. um, um, hopefully have a job. Hopefully not in New Zealand. Hopefully finish my PhD. I'd love to be in the sporting space in female sport, and in what capacity I don't really know. Because like I could happily keep going down the research track and do a postdoc or something, but then I could also quite happily go be a sports scientist or a strength and conditioning coach. But then also at the same time, I could fully get immersed into like community sport and making it like a better environment than it is. So I don't know.
You've
it's
got options and avenues.
it's been yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot recently because I've always just been like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do sports rehab or I'm gonna be an S&C coach. And now I'm like, don't know. But that's okay. That's okay. I've got 2 more years at uni, and then we'll see. Yeah,
I mean, it could still change by the end of it as well.
yeah, and like I think especially in the sporting world, like it evolves so much, and um, a job that might exist now might not exist in 5 years' time. And I think a lot of the jobs that are in the sporting world get created for people. So I guess like that's the thing. Like you just got to make an impression and make something of yourself, and start at that real low level to then climb up that ladder. Um, yeah. So I guess that's probably like one of my hopes is that I've climbed up that ladder and made a name for myself, I guess. Yeah.
Hard. Would you ever consider creating your own business?
That scares me. I
Why?
That would stress me out so much. I I think I just get overwhelmed with it, honestly. Like the amount of things that need to get done, and I still need to be told what to do sometimes, you know. Yeah, I need some form of a structure, which I guess like if I had my own company, I could make my own structure, but I don't think right now. I don't think right now I know enough
Not
about
now.
my life to know what I want to do with my life to create a business. Um, I don't know, maybe one day. I don't know.
I mean, you say that you don't know enough about your life at the moment, but like it sounds like you've gone through a lot of growth in the past. What? When did we were in Dunedin 2021, right?
Yes.
That was the last time you were in Dunedin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wow. That was the last full year I spent in Dunedin. So since then, you've grown a lot.
I
You've
think
had a lot of growth.
I think 2021 was when my view on the world changed a lot. Um, and like a lot of people who I like thought were amazing, I started to realize were actually like shit people. And I don't know, I think a lot just happened to me in 2021 that made me realize um a lot of things, and like the world and stuff as well, like, you know, yeah. Yeah. Look at me being a bigger person. Wild. Wild.
Why? Isn't that what's supposed to happen? Aren't you supposed to learn, develop, and grow over time? You're not supposed to stay the same person you were.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to be the person I was when I was 18. I was a bloody princess. Like, I'm still a princess, don't get me wrong.
I was about to say that ain't changed.
But like I saw one of my high school friends who I hadn't seen him in maybe like 3 years. And we were talking about it, and I was like, how did you guys deal with me? Like, I was so annoying. And they were like, we know. Like, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. It's just things change in your life, and then you realize, like, yeah, I seem like I'm so worldly right now. I'm not. I'm not life smart. Like, don't listen to what I've said on here. I am not life smart. We all know this.
You're very book smart, but yeah, life smart, nah, you wouldn't last a minute on the
But
streets.
then also at the same time, you could ask me about something in my degree, and I would be like, what are you talking about? And then you'd start talking and be like, oh, I know all about this. Like, I can sound so dumb sometimes.
And then that's why you're everyone's favourite numpty.
take the favourite parts. I'm not a numpty.
But anyway, as we sort of wind up the show and wrap things up here, is there anything you'd like the people to know? How can they find you? Where can they find out more about your research?
You can find me on every social media platform. Not that I'm very good at posting or responding to people sometimes. I sometimes regularly post on LinkedIn about my uni life, and hopefully we'll be publishing some papers soon on our first season of data collection. So I think the goal is like middle of the year to have some stuff published, if anyone would like to know about that.
Nice.
You can go follow me on Instagram. I don't even know.
Those followers up.
I don't even know
Those followers up.
What is it? Nicole Spriggs? I think.
I don't know, but I'll tag it down below.
But yeah, if anyone just wants to have a chat about life, if you're in your like last year at uni, I know what I'm going to flex on. Any sports science students out there, go join SSNZ.
Oh yeah.
Which is Sport Exercise Science New Zealand, which somehow I've ended up on the board of. So I'm the student rep for SSNZ. So this year we really want to help Totoko, our students, help with networking and mostly networking, because I know being a little undergrad, being like, oh my gosh, I need to get a job, and not knowing anyone and not knowing how to get anywhere. And then you're watching all these people get jobs and you're like, that's because your dad's twin sister is married to whoever, and like that's how you got this really cool job. So yeah, so that's SSNZ Whānau on Facebook as a group. But I also post up stuff like that on my LinkedIn sometimes when I remember.
Definitely go check it out. Go check it out, Whānau. Great resource. Where did you guys go last year for your conference?
2021 was in Auckland, and this year 2022 is in Wellington, and it's the
We're in 2023.
2023 is Dunedin. So nice. 2022 this year is in Wellington, and it's joint with.
No, we're in 2023. This is the year.
That's so bad.
That's what I was saying.
Oh my god, that's so bad. We're only like 8 days in. It's fine. Yeah, it's the 8th day. Okay, so 2022 it was in Auckland. 2023 it's in Wellington, and 2024 it's in Dunedin. So 2023 this year, Wellington. It's a joint conference with another group called the Physical Activity and Health, and they're like an Australasia one. So it'll be pretty cool. There's the first day's Physical Activity and Health, the second day's SSNZ and them joint together, and then the third day is just SSNZ. So it's a pretty cool one to get a part of, because you're getting a little bit of two birds, one stone. And like, conferences mean you meet some cool people. I love it because all us students end up catching back up together. I met some real cool students last year from all around the country, met back up with all my Otago mates, got some real cool connections with people who are like S&C coaches. Like there's people, I can't even think of who was there at the moment, but like you just learn about a lot of cool research. People come from overseas and stuff. It's a great networking space. Yeah.
So go check it out, Whānau. I'm going to link it down below. And then I think, Nicole, do you have a link tree or anything with all this information on? You should make one. Then you can put up all your articles that you're a part of in your link tree, so then people can just do that. And then I can just copy a link tree over onto my story for anyone that's here following because of you, or they're interested in this story, so they can check out your link tree. So make one, have all these links in it. It's super helpful.
Okay. I'll do that.
Do you know how to make one?
No. I don't know how to work technology.
I'll send you that. See, this is why you're our favourite numpty.
Honestly, technology is the bane of my existence. Eh?
Technology and dates, apparently.
Shut up. That was brutal. That was rude.
It's all good. People will love it. Or they won't. They'll hate it, but it's all good. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think we can just end with you roasting me.
That's just like normal though, right?
Or
It's a common thing.
it's every day I see you, I get roasted.
You're welcome. Keep you humble.
Got to keep you humble.
Someone needs to try.
Yeah.
It's not working. Nah. But thank you so much for coming on. This has been a great corridor. I've enjoyed this chat today. And whānau, definitely. Thank you so much for listening this long. But definitely go check out Nicole. She's doing some amazing things in her research and concussion, especially with young wāhine. That's something we need a bit more of is a bit more research and support in their space, because we're oversaturated, man. Don't even lie when people are like, nah, there's not enough men research. Shut up. That's all we've been doing. So definitely go check it out. She's doing some amazing things. She's going to be a Dr. Nicole Spriggs probably by the next time she jumps on the show. So
That's scary. That's
check
so
her out.
scary.
But again, thank you so much, Nicole, for jumping on and being a continuous supporter of the kaupapa and of this channel. Really do appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
Of course. Would have not. Get all behind it. And it's entertaining listening to the podcast, to be honest.
Thanks. We try to keep it interesting. We try to at least have something somewhere for someone to find interest, even if it's only one episode.
Gotta get there.
But whānau, thanks for sticking around this long. Take care, everybody, and welcome back to 2023. Mori ora whānau. Ka kite.